What are some of the worst business practices you've seen? Hostility towards raises. Rewarding your existing employees is almost always cheaper than hiring new. I've had a manager that scoffed at a single 3% raise for someone who had no raise for 5 years. Good luck hiring a new person with that experience and for less money. There's a reason why job hopping gets you more money, and it's not because hiring new is cheaper. Same. Company changed owners and suddenly did an about face on raises and promotions. My manager straight up lied to my face and doubled down when called out on it. My husband is an EMT. He got a job offer that paid him $6 more per hour and his boss told him not to take the offer because he will give him the upcoming promotion when the senior EMT quits. So my husband did what he said. He didn't take the job offer and waited for the promotion. Then he found out someone else got it and he obviously asked his boss WTF happened. His boss said it wasn't guaranteed. He was just putting his name in the hat with a good word to the senior boss, which obviously wasn't true. But there was nothing my husband can do about it legally at will state. So my husband got his paramedic license and now he's going to get even more money. Just gave his 2 weeks notice. Any company/service that allows you to sign up using the internet with minimal verification, but requires you to either produce ID, bills, proof of address, or show up in person to cancel that service. If I can set it up via the internet, I should be able to cancel using the internet too. You mean Planet Fitness? Yes. I moved to a whole new state and they refused to let me cancel or go into a location in the new state to cancel because it wasn't my home gym or whatever they call it. I hate them. I used to serve at a restaurant where we wore pages that buzzed us when a table's food was ready. Good idea, right? Well, the owners had a policy that you had to immediately go pick up the food no matter what, and that included if you were in the middle of taking another table's order. They said that people understand and are cool with it. Of course they weren't though. Every time I stopped taking a table's order and went and got the food, they were totally pissed off. I could not believe the owners did not understand while literally no other restaurant on the planet does it that way. I worked in a small boutique hotel with a fine dining restaurant and a gastropub connected. You had to juggle service and reception all the time. Our hotel director felt it would be appropriate for us to wear a headset to answer calls for the hotel while serving to make sure we didn't lose out on any room sales, stating that the customer would be understand as long as we excused ourselves. And here we have some locally sourced braised lamb, served with vegetables grown at a farm located just north. Excuse me for a minute while I answer this call. Yeah, that would definitely get a response of stunned disbelief from me. I use the term business loosely, but I once did graduate research with a professor who was in the process of trying to get a major auto manufacturer to invest in a lab. They liked us, but wanted an example of some of our work. So rather than directing them to some publications of ours, my professor gave them a zip file containing all of our recent unpublished research, including the basis for a patent application. My professor was shocked when they just kept it. What a moron. IDK, how you get to that point in life not knowing that car companies play dirty. That's why he's in academia and not in business. I worked at a restaurant that won't let people get a refund on their food, even though there was a cockroach in it. Instead they offered a 10% discount on the food as per their policy. Needless to say, this restaurant no longer exists. Gosh, how many cockroaches did they serve in the short time I worked there? It happened 4 times on my shift and several others when I wasn't working. Owners did very little in the way of maintenance. It wasn't in a good location and the customers weren't rich by any means. I guess they just got lucky until they served the roach to the wrong person. TBH, I don't know the exact reason they hut down. So this store put a massive discount on weighted blankets. They were originally selling for $150, but were now being offered for $39.99. The catch: you'd need to sign up for free as a VIP member online. Okay, no harm done. So I signed up and bought the blanket, and so did thousands of other people. The store cancelled our orders and refunded our money, claiming that they weren't able to fulfill our orders. and now they had a couple thousand more new names on their mailing list. And sure enough, marketing emails came pouring through. I unsubscribed once but still had emails coming in. Fuck you Spotlight, Australia. Spotlight posted my wife vouchers that were only able to be used in store. Their store was click and collect, or delivery only during the height of the pandemic. Spotlight refused to allow them to be used in store, and refused to extend the offer end date. Spotlight sent a lot of these to VIP customers in Victoria. So rude. My first job as a teenager was at Spotlight. It's such a shady company. If they treated their customers as badly as they treated their employees, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they sent out the vouchers on purpose, knowing they couldn't be redeemed. I heard this one from a friend. She worked at a dog kenneling business that would tour prospective clients through the front of the building and show off how each dog would get its own indoor/outdoor run area and specialized attention, etc. Then when Thanksgiving and Christmas came, and they got more bookings than they could accommodate, they set up cages and stacked kennels in a back room, and people were paying big dollars thinking that their dogs were in a nice roomy pen, while the business crammed as many dogs as they could into these basic cages. It was shameful. This is why it's good to find ones that give you 24/7 video access. How dare they? Bodycams for dogsy. Trying to get employees to quit. My managers at fast food didn't want to keep long-term employees due to having to pay them more, and firing them means unemployment costs. Us quitting means no unemployment and not having to give raises. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes and the award. Never thought it would get so popular. To answer a question as to why I didn't force them to fire me. Broke college student. They had flexible hours, and I got a free meal. Where I live, they stop scheduling you except for like 1 or 2 hours a week. You qualify for unemployment if they do this to you. Just FYI. I worked for a big car rental company in the returns department. They would push us to find and charge customers for any new damage on their cars by awarding bonuses on top of our monthly salary. We were given mirrors to look for scratches under the cars where customers would normally not have checked before they rented the car, often leading to heated arguments over if it really was their fault or not. The company did not care either way and made us charge their insurance deposit if they refused to pay. The daily verbal abuse and stress from being sandwiched between my managers and angry customers has definitely left a mark on my mental health, and I will probably never work in the traveling industry again. I sort of felt this. The Hanks for confirming. I once rented a Porsche for a weekend. Literally drove to my girlfriend's, 50 miles, stayed the weekend, drove back again, car was still immaculate, dropped it off, nothing said. 2 months later get a charge on my card for 1,000. So I called them up. They say the windscreen was chipped and needed to be completely replaced. The windscreen was fine. So argue this with them and call up my credit card. Get them to put a hold on that charge. Tell TH car company. Get me some proof. Time goes by. Nothing. I call them back. They say they still waiting. This B goes by. Still nothing. I call them back. The girl says it's been repaired at a different branch. It was 90. So I say hold on, you're charging me 1,000. Yes. But you just told me it was 90? No I didn't. Yes. You did. Do you record all your calls? Yes. We do. Then I want a copy of this call under the Freedom of Information Act, specific UK legislation. Close bracket. She puts me in hold. Comes back in 5 minutes. We'll waive all charges. Apostrophe. 2 months later. They still haven't cancelled the charge to my card. So I call them. Hello. What are you playing at? Oh. We've lost your car hire voucher. The one you gave us when you collected the car. You need to send us your copy. Apostrophe. No, I don't. You just need to cancel the charge. Apostrophe. But we need a voucher. And we've lost yours. So we need you to send us yours. Apostrophe. No. You obviously had my voucher. Because you handed the cars over to me. If you've lost, that's your fault. And your problem. You cancel the charge immediately. And go looking for this lost voucher in your own time. Apostrophe. Charge cancelled. So, How many other people do they try this with? And how many just pay? UK here also. I had a problem once where I rented a van which was in awful condition on collection and the checklist didn't contain some of the damage. I took it back, and the person who'd rented it the first time wasn't in. And the new person didn't know about the damage, so I shit it and called the government helpline, possibly trading standards, to find out what I could do. They basically said, unless the company can explicitly prove you caused the damage, i.e. photos from before and after, they don't have a leg to stand on regarding these claims. Major banks sorting your transactions when you have a low balance in such a way to maximize overdraft fees. Honestly, overdraft fees in general. Many banks will charge you an overdraft and deny the transaction, because apparently it costs them $35 to deny a transaction. Perhaps the easiest way they could prevent overdrafts that aren't the account holder's fault would be to ban demand drafts that are not accompanied by a court order. As it stands, with most auto-pay agreements the company sends a demand draft to the bank. They have the freedom to request more money than what you agreed to. We dropped an insurance company because they tripled our premium without warning. It's also how the Nigerian oil scam works. They use the info pass to issue demand drafts and clean out your account. Close bracket. With real banking services, you tell your bank how much you want to pay vendor X every month, and they cut a check to that vendor every month. If your vendor wants to up the amount, they have to get you to agree to it first. Because Bank of America was sued in a huge CLBT action lawsuit, they have actually changed these practices. If your account gets overdrawn now, they send you a notice that you have 3 days to bring the account out of the red before they charge you $35 NSF charge. It is a pretty good way to do it now. I worked as a food service manager for a large hotel chain. Let's call it Chariot Hotels. The general hotel manager wouldn't approve repairs/replacements of equipment unless we were expecting an inspection in the next 2 to 3 months. The immediate bad effect of this was a lot of negative reviews. Our ice maker broke, so we had to send employees to the other side of the hotel to get ice from an ice machine to make iced coffee, smoothies, etc., resulting in extremely long wait times for iced drinks. We also lost money because a lot of the cold food, like chicken salad, can be made in bulk and stored for a few days in the fridge. Unfortunately, half of our fridges didn't cool properly, so we had to make a lot of foods fresh every day and discard a lot of food. Lastly, I quit when I got tired of requesting repairs that never happened. 2 weeks later, they got an early inspection and an exceptionally bad score for a chain. They passed, but just barely. The general manager blamed it on the former food service manager, me, and I believe she still manages the hotel to this day. Yeah, I used to work for their rival Hilton, and we'd get inspected, and every time the maintenance team failed, every time I put out a maintenance request they'd ignore it. It was one full-time guy and one part-timer, and the full-time guy would be lazy and the part-timer would get blamed. Ah yes, Hilton and Chariot lol. I wonder if Byte and Omni were just as bad lol. In the town I grew up there was this guy who ran a music store, the kind that sells musical instruments. He would sell brand new stuff at 50-60% discount. Hell, a friend of mine haggled a brand new Gibson guitar off the shelf for maybe 75% off. I bought several cymbals off him dirt cheap. For you drummers out there, Sabian AA, not crap. Turns out, his family was filthy rich, old money, and running the store was his hobby. You know, just something to do. He would sit there, smoke, discuss which Zappa record was the best, and basically give stuff away. It was awesome. And terrible business. Edit. A lot of you seem to suggest that this is some kind of money laundering scheme. But if you want to launder money, maybe run a business that does more than a $1,000 monthly revenue. He's probably not in business anymore. But then again, I haven't lived there for 20 odd years. You'd never guess he was super rich. He had that basic 40-something, brown leather jacket, ponytail, chain smoking kind of I live in my mom's basement vibe. This was in Norway in the mid-90s. I guess they got him the store to get him out of the house. Who knows? If you strayed in there, you'd almost be held hostage by his never-ending stories and promise of maybe getting that boss pedal for $15. It was more weird than cool, I like. Anyway, sometimes weird is cool. And I still have one of the symbols. Honestly, that sounds like a glorious way to live. If you're rich as duck and don't care. Maybe it's not that he don't care. Could legit love music. Would be happy to give the stuff away for free if people would use the music gear by charging half. Has making sure people are serious. Oracle software. Oracle is a technology company which uses its one feature product, their database, and uses that product to drive sales and adoption of a slew of inferior garbage software through incredibly restrictive licensing terms. Mark Benioff, founder and CEO of Salesforce, has a net worth of $8 billion. And that is almost exclusively due to giving the market an alternative to Larry Ellison's corporate extortion machine. I was waiting for this one to come up. A big part of Oracle's problem too is that they acquire other companies, like PeopleSoft, in a game of if you can't beat them, buy them and then let the product they just acquire slow burn to death by not investing in it and trying to cram it into their suite of products and then claiming it will work seamlessly with all the other products they've acquired. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.